Somebody's gotta pay.
Pay for what?
I don't know, just pay!
Hello everyone, Brian here. The video you just saw is going to be the focus of this, the animation you saw is going to be the focus of this video. What we're doing is we're going to be designing this Minecraft character, and it's the Minecraft character that I use to do the video, the animation you just saw. Since putting up the short film, my short film on my channel, I've had a few people approach me and ask me to do some Minecraft animation work. And in order to do so, I have to build a properly operational character. Now, I'm an animator. I rig out of necessity, so the things I'm going to be showing you, they'll work, but I'm sure that if you are a professional rigger, and I'm talking to you, both John and Charles, both of which are subscribers of mine, if you guys see this, and I'm sure you're going to slap your face and say, why did you do it like this? Now, I'm doing this rig as simple as I possibly can. It's a simple biped. I'm doing IK only legs, FK, IK arms, FK spine. There's no kind of stretchiness or anything like that that I'm including in this character. It's a very straightforward, simple character that's going to be used to do these rather simplistic animations. I don't need anything very sophisticated. This is not feature film. We are going to do the minimal modeling and rigging that we possibly can in order to get a good animation result. So what I'd like to discuss with you in this video, everyone, is this character right here. We're going to be going through the modeling, the texturing, the rigging, the skinning, the blend shapes, all these different things in a series of short videos. I'm going to try and keep it as short as I can. I'm using Bandicam to record this because Fraps, which is what I normally use, wouldn't allow me to record the Maya screen. I am using Maya. It is what I have available at the studio, so that is what I'm using. You can do the same concepts in any 3D software you decide to do. The words are going to be the same. The locations of things on the screen are going to be different. However, the concepts, rigging concepts, and modeling concepts will all be similar to all the different 3D programs, whichever one you decide to use. So, let's just take a look at this character. This is what our end result is going to be, we're hoping. If I finish this video and it gets a decent enough response, I might go through how to build a creeper, how to build a spider, all these other ones as well. But let's just start with this one for now. We're going to be doing a simple biped, as I mentioned. He is going to have IK legs. I've gone with this style rather than the pointed knee. I'm kind of going with a curve here. To be honest, it's easier. In order to get a proper skinned pointed knee, it's quite difficult. Now, there's options, of course. You can do it with a complex rig. Again, I'm trying to avoid that. If ultimately I decide I'm going to want the pointed knee or the pointed elbows, I'm going to probably do it with corrective blend shapes. And we'll discuss blend shapes in a later video. But for now, we're just going to take a look at this character. I don't mind the way this looks. I don't mind the simple curves. I've got some complex features in here. I've got, of course, the IK legs. And you can see I have a number of different things. I've got a ball roll, so he can kind of go up on the ball of his feet. I have a toe roll, so he can go on his toe. Different things like that. Just different things. Some things I don't think I actually did anything with a toe curl. Oh, yeah, I did a little bit of toe curl. I didn't remember doing that, but I guess I did. I didn't do anything with a foot rock just because it was unnecessary with this simple character. So that is, we're going to be using IK legs with the additional features that you saw there. We've got pole vectors. These are pole vectors. We're going to talk about what those are in a later feature. It's a simple, both right now, the legs are both an IK and the arms are an FK, but you can see it's a simple waist. We do, as an animator, we're going to have to worry about this, the popping that occurs with these square legs, because when the joints themselves, let's take a look at the joints. Joints, doink. The joints themselves, when they straighten out completely like that, we do get some popping in the legs, and that's just because of the model itself. There's actually no bend in this leg. It's kind of funny because everyone thinks these characters are going to be very, very simple, and they're actually a little bit more difficult to animate because of, and to rig and to skin for that matter, simply because they are all so straight. There's very little geometry in here. I went with very little geometry. I went with the absolutely straight leg, and that's going to cause some popping. So it's going to be something we have to be aware of when we are animating. See, that's popping right there. Boink, boink, boink. Okay, so we went with a simple hip control, simple root system. I've included in this character, let me turn off the joints again. I've included this character a number of, a God node, which is going to allow us to move the character into place, as well as a ground node, which again is going to move the character in place, but it allows you to shift the character's center of gravity. Allows you to shift where the ground is, and that's going to be necessary when it comes to things like spinning or rotating or anything like that. And I've added a final layer, which I'm calling center of gravity, and again, it allows me to rotate my character around this point here. So I can rotate the entire character around this point, around his midsection. So if he's tumbling or falling or something like that, it's very, very useful. We're going with a simple FK torso, meaning that as if I twist one, then all of them twist. Like so. They all kind of follow each other. We've got a simple FK head, no neck obviously, because this character has no neck. We are not doing any kind of follow system on this head. It's something that could be added fairly simply. I don't believe it's necessary for the kind of animation I'm going to be doing, so I'm not going to complicate the rig or this tutorial by doing follows, meaning that the head acts like an IK and it'll stay in place. I did, however, add both FK and IK arms, so we've got ourselves FK arms here, and I did so because as an animator I switch back and forth fairly frequently between FK and IK as far as arms are concerned. Obviously for things like running or walking or whatever where you're looking for a simple arm swing, you want to go with FK just because it allows for a clean arc to be made in your animation. I'm getting all of this motion for free. Whereas if I switch to IK, and we can switch just like that. If I switch to IK, then we don't get that same motion because everything is being led by the hand. So I've decided to go to allow obviously both IK and FK just because IK is extremely necessary when it comes to things like placing a hand on a table or placing a hand on a wall or whatever. And of course we built pole vectors for the elbows to allow us to point our elbow the way we want to as well, to make sure we've got nice clean lines. We kept the eyes, I kept them very, very simple. I'm not putting any kind of follow eyes or anything like that. I'm not making any kind of system where you're going to drag this and put it on the thing you're looking at. As an animator, honestly, I typically find that unnecessary. I can get away with having a simple system like this that allows me to direct the eyes towards the object I want to look at, so however I want to look at it. It allows me to direct the eyes, and that is usually enough. Eye direction is usually enough without having the eyes pointed exactly at the object the character is looking at. If you want to add something like that, it is very easy to do, and you would do it exactly the same way as this pole vector. And obviously we're going to talk about that a little later on. I'm using words that you might not understand or know at this time, but hopefully at the end of the series you will. So we've got that. Additionally, and the last thing we're going to take a look at the end of this is the blend shapes for facial and for lip sync. And I did as few as I possibly could. I kept it very, very simple. Open mouth, a smile, a frown, that kind of stuff. And it allows me to do what I need to do. So here's open mouth wide, for example. It allows me to do the things that I need to do as far as lip sync are concerned with the bare minimum of blend shapes. Now these are my blend shapes up here. And you've got to create those if you want to have any kind of facial animation. In the method I'm using, there are many different ways. You can build a bone structure in the face and have the joints move the face around and that kind of stuff. But to be honest, as an animator, this is enough for me, especially with what we're doing here. And as new modelers, riggers, or animators who are watching this video and learning it for the first time, this is the easiest, the most simplistic way to get lip sync and that kind of stuff done. So with today's video, what I'm going to look at today is just the model, and we're only going to do the basic model in the rest of this video, and in the next video we'll take a look at texturing and maybe even start rigging. Alright everybody, so let's take a look at the basic model. Hello everybody, we are back and we have stripped this scene down to its simplest components. All I've left in it is this mesh. This is our character mesh, and I've left it in here only for reference. We're actually going to be rebuilding this in this episode. We're going to be rebuilding the head, the body, an arm, and a leg. And I'm not going to be putting all the details that you see in here either. I'm not going to be putting in these additional edge loops in the elbow or the wrist or the knee or the ankle, and I'm not going to put in the additional features in the face. I decided where those were to be located after I textured this character, and then I added the additional edge loops in. Now the edge loops allow this character to bend, so it allows him to bend his leg or arm. So I'm not going to be adding that in this episode. All I'm going to be doing is building the cubes and putting them in place. And then next episode we'll cover texturing, and we'll make the changes to the mesh so it's completely done. I know some of you are probably thinking, wow, you're going really slow. And yes, I'm going to be going very, very slowly. I taught at the University of Concordia University. It's a university in Montreal, in Quebec, Canada. I taught there. I taught Maya, and I found that my students, if I went too quickly, if I spoke too quickly, which I have a habit of doing, or if I covered too many topics, my students were lost. They came back to me and said, what was going on? I don't get it. So instead, I'm going to go very slowly. I'm going to allow you guys to watch this, copy what I've done, and then in the next episode, copy it again. I'll be covering one topic at a time. For those of you who know Maya already, and I'm going too slow, then you can go watch some other video. There's a lot of tutorial videos out there. You guys can go watch those. For those people who are new to Maya or just learning Maya, or just want to go and build this character and don't really know how, I'm going to be going slow enough that hopefully you can follow along. Okay? So we're going to start today with the head, the body, an arm, and a leg. To create these body parts, first thing I want you to do is go up here into the corner, and I want you to make sure that it's on polygons. If it doesn't say polygons, then click the little triangle and select polygons. Afterwards, go to the Create menu up here, hit Create, and you're going to see an option for polygon primitives. We're doing everything with polygon cubes. Now before you go and select cube, I want you to make sure that interactive creation is off. I can't stand interactive creation. I just want the cube to go on the screen when I push the button. So, when I push this button with interactive creation off, I push the button, the cube will show up at the origin every single time. There it is, just where I want it. The first thing you're going to do is make sure it's selected, make sure it's green like that. Go up in the channel box, and you're going to change the name. You're going to call it car head. And I make sure I change the name of anything I create so that I can always identify it and find it later. Now the dimensions of our head, I'm going to be taking the dimensions for this character off of the default 16-bit texture pack that comes with Minecraft. So if I take a look at the actual character PNG file, I know that the character's head is 8 pixels wide, 8 pixels tall, and 8 pixels deep. So I'm going to be using 1 Maya unit equal to 1 pixel. So therefore, my scale of my head is going to be 8 by 8 by 8. As well, I'm going to move this head into position. I know that a leg is 12 pixels high, a body is 12 pixels high, and I know that the pivot point of this cube is in the center of the cube. You can see there, it's in the center. So from this bottom to the middle is a total of 4 units, because the entire thing is 8 units high. So there's 4 units plus 12 equals 28. 12 plus 12 is 24, plus 4 is 28. I'm going to change this translate y value to 28. So now that head is in position. It's exactly where I want it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to build a body. And the body is, again, very, very simple. Create polygon primitive cube. It'll appear at the origin. I know that the body is 8 units wide. I know that it is 4 units deep, and I know it's 12 units tall. So I'm going to change this to 8 units by 12 units tall by 4 units. So now I've got an appropriately sized body. The body to go in position is going to go 12 plus halfway to the middle, which from the bottom to the top is a total of 6. So 12 plus 6 is 18. I'm going to change the y value to 18. And now my body is in the appropriate location. Now we're going to make a few changes to this body. If you take a look over here in the corner, if we take actually a look at the reference, I kept it very, very simple. And the body does not have a lot of animation or a lot of mesh included in it, a lot of different edges and polygons included in it. The body animation is very simple. It just rotates around these very, very minor points here. So all we're going to do is we're going to add these in right now. And to do so, you're going to come over to you're going to select your cube, which you've renamed to car body. You're going to select in the channel box, you're going to select polycube 2. Shapes, inputs, polycube 2. That's going to give you some options down here. We're going to add these subdivisions in immediately. So I want there to be 1, 2, 3 across the width. No, down here, sorry, subdivisions width, 3. And I want there to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down the height. So I'm going to change this to 5. And that is going to be enough mesh for us to actually get our appropriate bending in the character. We're doing a really simple spine later on, so that's enough mesh right there. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in a leg. Let's do a leg. I'm going to create polygon primitive, cube. Right at my origin, rename it, car, leg, underscore L. This is my left leg, so underscore L. Now, I know that this leg is 4 units wide, 12 units high, and 4 units deep. So I'm going to change it to 4, 12, 4. And that's my leg. Perfect. The leg is going to be half of 12, 6 units off the ground. So I'm going to move it 6 units in the Y. And I'm going to move it over 2. Perfect. All right. And we've already renamed it car leg. Now, in order to build my arm, I'm going to select the leg. I'm going to go over to Edit. And under Edit, I have the option to duplicate. Pushing duplicate will produce this other object, this other cube. I'm going to rename it car arm underscore L. Okay, and I'm going to put it in the appropriate location. It is going to go a total of 6 units across, because it's 4 units wide plus 2 to get to the middle. And it's going to go up a total of 18. 12 plus 6, 18. Okay, so that puts everything in the proper location. I have named everything appropriately. And once I've actually completed this texture pack, this texture on this model, I'm going to duplicate the arm and the leg in the appropriate positions. Now, there's only one last thing I want to do before I get off here, and that's I'm going to add what's called a bevel to my objects here. Now, you can see that I've created this very simple mesh. It's very, very, very sharp, and I don't want it to be so sharp. So I'm going to select the head, the leg, and the head, arm, and leg, and I'm going to go up here to Edit Mesh, and there's a bevel option. Click the little cube, the little square. You can change these to whatever you'd like. I think this value is appropriate, 0.05. When I apply it, what it's going to do is it's going to get rid of the sharp edges that I had, and it's going to add a really simple flat side. That's all it's doing basically. It's actually adding a little bit of geometry and making everything kind of rounded. You can change the values to make that as round or as not sharp as you want. It can be rounded more than just one segment like I've done. I'm going to do the exact same thing with the edges here. So I'm going to select this thing here. I'm going to say edge. I'm holding down the right mouse button. I'm saying edge, and I'm selecting this, this, this. I'm going to select this side, this side, this side. I'm about to run out of recording time because I'm using a free version of Bandicam. Like that. And I'm going to select down here, and down here, and down here. And in doing so, it's going to allow me to, I'm going to have to stop recording for 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I am back. Okay, so all I've done is I've gone through and I've selected the edges. I have 10 more minutes of recording, which is great. I've selected the edges, and let me just do so again. Let me go like this. Object mode. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm selecting this object. I am going to hold down the right mouse button to get up this menu, and I'm going to say edges. Now, I only want to bevel the outside edges of the body, so I'm going to select this edge, and this edge, and this edge as well. I'm going to select here, and here. And all I'm doing to do multiple selections is I'm holding down Shift when I select, and I'm clicking on each part. Now, afterwards, you can go up here and you can say under Select, Contiguous Edges. If you click it, it'll go around and select all the edges. Okay, so I've selected on this side and along this side. I also want to select this one, and this one, and I'll say Select Contiguous Edges again. Boom. And lastly, I want to go over to this side and select this one, and this one, and I'll do the one at the bottom too while I'm here, and say Select Contiguous Edges. Okay, so now what I've done is I've selected the edges, these lines, of this body. And I'm going to bevel this. So again, I'm going to go to Edit Mesh, and I'm going to say Bevel. And in doing so, you can see that now I have a bevel that is only affecting those lines. Okay, everyone. That takes us to the end of this episode. We have built the head, the body, the arm, and the leg. In the next episode, we'll be covering texturing. We're going to add the texture from our whatever texture we've decided to add to this character. We're going to add the texture to these polygons, and we're going to add in the additional edge loops. Okay, everybody? I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please let me know. If there's something that I didn't cover appropriately, or if you have any questions about what we've done here, let me know in the comments, and I will try and answer them the best I can. If you enjoyed it, please let me know with a thumbs up. Leave something in the comments for me, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. Alright, everybody, have yourselves a great night. Thanks a lot.